Hello there, and welcome to another one of the speed paints. And today I wanted to go through how I make comics. Sorry that I keep switching between tabs right now on it. I haven't completely committed the designs of these characters to memory yet. Yeah. But it's my magical girl story again. How neat is that? 'Cause I was in the mood to draw it, and I think a whole bunch of people thought it was neat, maybe. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess starting off with my comic process. First off, I start with a thumbnail, which I'll put up a bunch of thumbnails for my webcomic of pages that I've already done at balancingact.tumblr.com. If you guys want to check it out, I'll put a thing in the description, please look at it, please. But yeah, I start out with a little thumbnail, and those are about in comparison for a real world object to my screen, about the size of a 50-cent coin, and I'm not allowed to zoom in, so I just get the basic shapes down as I go. Before I continue, figure out paneling and things like that. I also usually have a script that I've written down somewhere. Usually it's of dialogue. Just like, this character speaks in this panel, this character speaks in that panel. Something new that I'm trying out, especially for my comic, is if there's a specific action that I want and it's gonna be something that I work on a different day, then I write down said action. And then I do the thumbnail, and then I put it in a new file, and I blow it up, and, well, I enlarge it, I mean, as in blow up. Yeah, I don't explode it. I don't explode the thumbnail. Yeah, but I enlarge the file to fit the size of the page. And then what you're seeing me do right now, the sketch, I do it over the top. A little peek behind the curtain is that I only decided to start recording after I've already done the thumbnail, because the idea of doing it only came to me when I first started the sketch. Yeah. Oh, and before I also start the sketch, usually I block out the panels as well. Oh, look at Speak of the Devil, they're right there. Yeah, so I block out the panels and then put them down, and then I start working on the sketch. Yeah, so what's going on right now in this drawing is that it's sort of like the gang is their first encounter with the big bad, Avery Norman, and they're told by their little taleloids, as established in the other speed paint, if any of you were actually looking at the screen, and it's fine if you weren't, but I gave them the name taleloids. Anyway, they sort of have a psychic link and may or may not be subtly mind controlling them. It's fine. This is fine. It's only for little bits at a time anyway, you know? It's not suspicious at all. Very much not. Anyway, they're telling the girls to get the little piece of the comet that Avery is holding in his hand. Yeah. Sometimes if I have, because I usually draw the sketch all on one layer, usually if I have things that overlap, like with Hattie and Ruby here, I draw them on a separate thing, and then I put it together, line it up like I'm doing right now, do the same thing with Oakley, erase where the overlap is on both layers, and then merge the two together. And the background is on its own layer, and the borders are on their same layer. And usually by now I've gotten rid of the thumbnail layer, and now I'm onto the line art, which is all on its one special layer as well. Back when I first started doing the webcomic, I didn't know that you could actually change the color of lines after you've done them. And sometimes I would just do the line art all in one color. But I didn't know you could do that, so Bedlam usually had their own little special designated layer. But after a bit, I decided to change that as well. Yeah. This is something that I don't think I established in the other TaleTrappers thing, but Avery isn't human. And his design sort of reflects that a bit. They're supposed to not know how fashion works, so they're just wearing whatever the hell he wants. Yeah. And it's sort of a little bit like that for the girls as well, sort of. Another new little bit with lore is that there can be multiple magical girls of the same book, because there's multiple copies of the same book, you know. And that's the little idea that I have floating around in my brain. Maybe there's another Pinocchio book out there, and then there's like a foil to Oakley. I think that would be neat. Avery actually has himself a little henchman by the name of Sienna, I'm pretty sure her name is. I happen to be friends with the author of the book that Sienna is based on, and he named her. The book is Caring for Your Clown, if anyone is interested. Anyway, Sienna also may or may not be human, but is like a homunculus sort of thing, like a creature that has been created. Yeah. And after a while, the girls convince Sienna to join their side and things like that, and thus Avery decides to make another homunculus creature, but this is with a book later on down in the series, because the book is part of a series. And yeah, that's something neat that I have planned as well. Something I find mildly concerning for myself is that I have more ideas regarding all of the characters other than Oakley, who is meant to be the main character. But I find myself drawing the others a lot more than her, and I have tried just doing little off expressions of her, because sometimes when I draw characters, I like to think further about when I do it, and I sometimes mutter to myself about them, you know, like a normal person. Yeah. I've actually been making like a little ball jointed doll of Oakley. I might flash up a little picture here if I remember to do it. Unlike my little what was it called? Sketchbook tour video. I forgot to edit it. I forgot to edit the sketchbook tour and I'm very, very sorry about that. I might fix that later. Yeah. Going back to the video at hand, a few of you might be wondering why my sketch is like orangey yellowy color. I used to draw my sketches in the same black as the line art and then make it a little lighter when I go over it. This is something that I found out while doing traditional art for a little bit, because I usually like to fall back onto that sometimes when I'm feeling like I've hit a rut. And I didn't have any I didn't have a grey lead on me at the time, so I just did a thing on like yellow. And then when I got home, I had an actual grey lead and I went over it in grey lead and I found, hey, this is actually a lot easier to erase and go. And it's hidden under the grey lead a bit better and it's easier to see the grey lead on top. And then I applied it to my digital art and then here we are. Yeah. Yeah, so I find that it's easier to see the line art on top of it rather than the grey. And now I'm onto the faces, and the faces are on their own little separate layer as well. I really like drawing expressions and like seeing how far I can push them. I used to draw, back when I first started digital art, I used to draw the faces on the same layer as the line art. But I find when they're on their own layer, I can push the expressions a little bit further than I would have, which is also neat because I love drawing expressions. When I was like 12 and I had my old OCs, especially Candy and another one, Linda, those two, I would just like have an entire A4 piece of paper filled with expressions for them, and I like doing it. I started doing it digitally as well, and it's really nice too. Yeah. Yeah. And of course, here's me cheating a little bit by just copy pasting Avery's face, because why not? Something I struggle a little bit with is drawing things more simplified if they're like further away or smaller details. So not with this face of Andre and Hattie, but also semi with this one. The one in the first panel, I had to force myself to do the little dot eyes and stuff. Yeah, this one. I'm like, don't make it too detailed, don't make it too detailed, don't make it too detailed. Yeah, I find it a little hard. And like a whole bunch of people are gonna say, but Sage, your art style's so simplistic. What are you talking about? I know. I know, it's dumb. It's stupid. It's dumb. But that's just how things are. Yeah, and so now I'm sort of cleaning up the faces, getting rid of where they overlap each other on either parts of the line art. And I think, yeah. It kind of just looks like my mouse was waving around for a bit, but I was opening up the files. So I color pick from each of the taloids, take their, I think it was second darkest color. And then no, it's their darkest color, yeah. And then I do it for the little eyes. I didn't notice till I finished, but I accidentally made it so Hattie is looking directly at the audience. I don't know. Maybe she semi-gains fourth wall awareness, who knows. Yeah, and then speaking of walls, there's the little wall the girls are hiding behind there. Fixing up Avery a bit because I felt lazy to just continue the lines. And now we're up to colors, so it's gonna be a little bit of flashing again soon. I mean now. The colors again are on their own separate layer as well. And there's me adding in Ruby's ears because I forgot they existed. Yeah, so I just use the little bucket tool for that. I used to color it all in by hand, but using the bucket tool is a lot better. It's also kind of made coloring in fun because I can just go, wee! Yay! Yeah. Yeah. So just blocking in the colors, doing the stuff. It's all on its separate layer. I have sort of changed the designs for the girls slightly as well. Not sure if anyone noticed that. Yeah. I've had like a couple friends complain about like how Ruby is purple and Andre is red. I was like, yeah, I know. Cause I was trying to make them a little bit more accurate to like illustrations, and honestly, by the time I got to Oakley and Heidi, because I did those two second last and last, because I sort of like took illustrations and color picked from it, and I didn't know this at the time, but I accidentally picked out my color for Ruby from the shading, and also this might be me making stupid dumb excuses, but the computer I was working on, the colors show up extremely differently on other devices. But the computer I'm using for this illustration is really no, it doesn't have that problem. Yeah. There's me blocking out the colors, and then this is me doing the shard. I was really proud of how it came out. Yeah, so I have this like eyedropper tool, but it's also like a selection tool rolled into one. And I use that religiously now. I only recently discovered it before doing the speed paint. It is really good for that. Yeah, and this is me doing the background, and that's on the background layer that's usually already there in Critter. A is Critter, by the way. Yeah, and there's me fixing up the colors a bit, making things a bit more vibrant. Yeah. And I sort of like added a little bit of a white over the top of that because I sort of liked the different colors, but yeah. Oh, I think this is me, yeah, doing the little aura over these. So it's me just going down to the sketch, erasing the thing, filling it back in. Yeah, paint bucket tool is neat. I like it. Can you tell? Yeah, and then I'm putting little dots in there, and I think I do the gradient now with like that half a raised brush. And then it's kind of hard to see over the first panel background, but I think I fix that with like a glow or something. Speaking of glow, I put some little glows over the girls' eyes. A little bit more random colors everywhere with the gradient thing. Oh, and then we're up to speech bubbles. Those, again, on their own separate layer. I think it's like the first brush there. It's like a round one, no matter what, how hard you press down, it's all the same size. And I use that for it. Then I do the little tails on a separate layer. I think for this one I accidentally forgot maybe to do it on a separate layer. Fill it in with the bucket tool, merge those two together. Oh yeah, and then this one I was also proud of. I made it so the bubble is each of the different colors. And then I just fill it in, and here's the final thing here. Because I decided to not record me doing the text, and there's one or two extra little details I added in separately. So, yeah. Bye, I guess.